It's time now for Carter's Corner. Everything Bay Area sports on the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network. Here is your host, Carter Kim.
We back. Gentlemen, ladies, people of the internet, welcome back to Carter's Corner. I am Carter Kim here on Giants, here with the Northern Lights Entertainment and Sports and Entertainment. It's been a long day. It's been a good day. It's been everything. I'm enjoying myself right now, but let's talk some ball because I think it's really important to do that right now. The two New York teams put a beating on their opponents. The Mets went 7-3. The Yankees went 5-2. Good days from those teams. Obviously, you have the game leader tonight between the Yankees and the Guardians with Bybee and Cole on the mound for their respective teams. We'll have Kwan, Manzardo, Ramirez, Naylor, Thomas, Brennan, Jimenez, Naylor, Rocchio, along with the Yankees lineup being Gleyber Torres, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Austin Wells, Giancarlo Stanton, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Anthony Volpe, Anthony Rizzo, and Alex Verdugo. We have playoff baseball, per usual, because who doesn't love playoff baseball? But it has been a great month for sports. I mean, if you are here and you want to talk about sports, come to Carter's Corner, or go to Giant Sports Talk Live. Go to Shark Bite if you're a Sharks fan. I actually am getting into hockey now, which is interesting to me, along with a couple other things such as Late Night Sports Talk with Wilby and Eric. You have other things like that. I mean, we're here. We do pretty much everything. So if you ever get a chance, go see Eric and Glenn, Will B, and everything else, and just have fun, man, because we're all here to talk ball with you guys. We're here to do whatever you guys need. If you guys want to talk about a certain subject, I'm here. And, yeah. But I think for now, I want to talk about an incredible game yesterday by the New York Mets versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. Mark Vientos, after Francisco Lindor gets intentionally walked by Landon Knack, absolutely crushes a homer into right field into the deck. He plays fantastically. Francisco Lindor sets the tone with a home run. Starling Marte gets a 3-hit day with an RBI and a run scored. Jesse Winker gets a hit, a run scored, and 2 walks. Iglesias, Taylor both get hits. Taylor gets a RBI. Francisco Alvarez gets a walk. But the real story of yesterday, in my opinion, Subcar, I'm still jazzed over that game yesterday too. Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. Another incredible performance I think I should mention of that game is Sean Manaea, 5 innings pitched, 7 Ks, but he kind of let 1 inning get away from him with 4 walks. That was a slightly bad inning, or even a scary inning for a lot of people. Then on the other side, who cares about the Dodgers, really? Ryan Berrier lost the game. Landon Knack is really the loser of that game, but come on, man. Yeah. Which is further proof of my theory that the Dodgers aren't actually a great farm system team. They just have a bunch of random people that come up through the farm system and the media hypes them up to be something they're not. It's just further proof to me that Landon Knack and Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone, and all these guys aren't actually that good. They're just Dodgers players that the media loves. But in the ALCS, Carlos Rodon gets the win against Alex Cobb. 2 forever Giants going up against each other. One of them comes out on top. Alex Cobb gets absolutely shelled by Juan Soto. Carlos Rodon has an incredible game in the playoffs. 9 Ks, 1 earned run, 3 hits allowed. Clay Holmes gets the hold. Weaver gets the save. Alex Cobb allows 3 earned runs, walks 3, and then strikes out 3. One of them on a home run. Surprisingly enough, Rocchio, a special shout out to Brian Rocchio, who's been playing super well this playoffs, along with Stephen Kwan, who seems to be the only guy inclined to show up for the Guardians, but everyone else seems out, just not in it. Gleyber Torres gets a hit and a run scored yesterday. Juan Soto gets a home run and a run scored. Giancarlo Stanton is turning into Giancarlo Stanton in the playoffs. He's playing great. I mean, we got some great stuff going here, and it has been an absolutely fantastic October so far for this. I mean, yep, just fantastic baseball, and I can't wait to see how tonight goes. But hey, if anybody has anything to think about the Yankees, I mean, there is one guy who has proved me wrong who will be pitching tonight. Garrett Cole is pitching tonight. He has had an incredible playoff so far, even though I thought he wasn't a great playoff performer. And listen, I want to be clear about my interpretations of Garrett Cole. I thought because of his history in elimination games, history in like certain games versus the Astros and the Red Sox and the Cubs, that he wasn't a great player. I stand corrected. He's actually pretty damn good in the postseason. I know that those stats said it. I just saw a lot of those games where he melted down a lot, especially versus Boston. But I stand corrected. I think he's a great player. He's just I just think that there was just some weird stuff that happened for him in the playoffs. But anyway, great player. He'll be facing Tanner Bybee tonight. Another forever Giant. Man, there are a lot of forever Giants in the playoffs. In the playoffs, pitching for great teams. I wonder why that is. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Farhan. So glad that dude's freaking gone. I mean, come on. Kevin Gausman, Carlos Rodon, all these other great pitchers, not to mention Alex Cobb. But then again, we should have traded Alex Cobb last year with Rodon. But yeah. No, that wasn't last year. That was the year before that. That was Rodon, when we should have traded Rodon. But yeah. I mean, that's just some disappointing stuff right there. Just very disgraceful, in my opinion. Like, everybody just, yeah, that's bad. Well, I have some interesting stats for you guys. If you don't mind if I show them to you. This is, these are the stats of Garrett Cole's record versus certain hitters. Now, if you look at him and Steven Kwan, apparently he owns on Steven Kwan because Steven Kwan is dotting 211 versus him. While in the meantime, Jose Ramirez is hitting 353. Sorry. And on the other side of that, to add on to another one, Will Brennan and Josh Naylor getting owned by him, along with Andres Jimenez. But there's one thing I'd like to mention about Steven Kwan against Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole has only struck out Steven Kwan twice, while with Naylor and Brennan and Jimenez, he struck them out upwards of 4 times always. But this is a testament, to my opinion, why Steven Kwan is a fantastic hitter. He's only getting out through the air or on the ground, which is impressive in my opinion, because there are a few players that are as good as he is at getting contact with the ball. And I really like Steven Kwan for that reason. I mean, that dude is, as Eric said, a professional hitter that deserves all the credit for how well he's done this year. Let me just get his information. I mean, the funny thing about Kwan is that he doesn't get a lot of hard hit ball. He doesn't even have a lot of bat speed. He's just really good at hitting and timing everything up. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the show. Yeah, we are looking at some intense playoff matchups tonight. I mean, it's been, or one intense playoff matchup in particular between the New York Yankees and the Guardians. I mean, we have a forever Giant on the mound, Tanner Bybee. It's, yeah. Wasn't Kwan leading the year in average for like half the year? I mean, yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah, he was flirting with like 400 for a minute, but he started slowing down because of an injury he had in the second half. He wasn't great. He was doing very well though, but he went from 300 to like 290, which is still pretty great. But you know, I think that he is a fantastic hitter. He's been really good. It's just surprising that I wish he could have been hitting better this year, but just some injuries started hampering him as he got down the stretch. That was his biggest problem, in my opinion. Other than that, though, absolutely fantastic. He has been nothing short of incredible for them. And not to mention, he's a great fielder. He steals bases. I mean, he doesn't hit for a lot of power, but he's great. I like him a lot, Steven Kwan. Wonder what that is. Is that a 2020 NBA champions? Oh, we got an LA fan in the house. There we go. But yeah, here we go. I mean, like, I think Garrett Cole, I'm wondering how well he's going to do. The thing is, he's got to get his off speed going because this isn't a power hitting lineup. They're going to rely on trying to hunt the fastball and try and get it in play. I think they're going to need to just try and find a way to just, how do I say this? They're going to need to find a way to get the ball in play and get runners on base, because right now again, I've said this repeatedly about Cleveland's offense, is that it can stagnate at the very wrong time. They have a great bullpen and some good pitching, but if they can't get it turned up right now, then they're going to be in trouble. There's only one good hitter right now in these playoffs, and that's been Steven Kwan, who is hitting 480 with a 5.19 OBP and a 520 on slugging percentage. I mean, he's been great. So is David Fry, but Jose Ramirez has been surprisingly sluggish, hitting 150, 292, and 350. I mean, he has not been great. I'm just keeping it real. Even though Jose Ramirez is really good, he's just been struggling as of late. He hasn't been striking out, but he just has not been able to get the ball in play. And then we look at the rotation that the Yankees have for the playoffs. They are going to be very serious about trying to keep this thing under their control. I'm actually going to show some people some stats right now, because I want to take a look at Steven Kwan's stuff right now. This is Steven Kwan's. Again, I don't know how to enlarge this image. Does this work? Oh, I think this kind of works, but I need to it's really tough to, I need to ask Eric about this, but anyway, so just looking at the stats right here, if y'all see this, I mean, the batting average is fantastic. The thing is, look at all these slugging and power hitting stats. They're really low. He doesn't hit the ball hard. He doesn't barrel it up. He doesn't get a lot of really hard exit velocity, and he doesn't slug particularly great. But he knows how to hit the ball in the right spot. He can square it up. He doesn't chase that much. He doesn't whiff or strike out, and he gets a lot of walks. One of the other things you'll see about him is his fielding and range in the outfield. I mean, yeah. Ramirez is 3 for 20 in the postseason. I mean, I figured he was going to be the thing that actually played the best. I thought he was going to be the guy that played the best. That he was going to be the big X factor for the offense in the playoffs. I thought he would be the centerpiece, actually. And I thought Steven Kwan and all the other guys would be X factors, because I was always worried about how well the other guys were going to hit in the playoffs. But it turns out Jose Ramirez has had some good moments this postseason, but he's not played that well. I mean, he has to have a great ALCS and carry them to victory. I mean, I'm not saying he has to carry them, because if Steven Kwan does well enough, it's okay. But it's also dude, things have got to be better with you right now, because this is the time. Kwan is 12 for 25. Incredible. Damn near 500. I mean, yeah, obviously, sample size is a little different in the postseason, as some people have been very keen to point out, Eric. I mean, but yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. If you're hitting 50% of anything in baseball, that's phenomenal. That guy is something else. I don't think I've seen a guy quite as professional at hitting as this guy. I mean, you obviously got your Luis Arraezes, you have your Tony Gwynns, you have great guys like that. But Steven Kwan is just such a great bat. He understands what he needs to do in order to keep the game under his control, which is just grind out, foul off at bats, and try and get walks. I mean, he's fantastic at it, and I hope he continues to do that, because he has been fantastic. I mean, I love him a lot. I think he's got the potential to be one of the best in baseball. I mean, looking at his numbers, obviously you don't see numbers that say, oh, yeah, this guy is definitely a superstar, but you see him as a star player. I mean, I like him. I really like him, and I just hope that this dude can get a shot to go to the Fall Classic. But tonight he has to deal with a damn good pitcher in Garrett Cole. And he, again, as I showed earlier, his career stats versus Garrett Cole are 4 for 19 with 1 home run, 1 RBI, and 2 Ks. So it's very strange. Judge is 2 for 15. I mean, I don't know what the hell has happened to Judge. I don't know what the hell. Seriously, give me a second. I'm going to check his postseason stats right now, just in general, because I've looked at these before, And I've said, how the heck does a player that's that good in the regular season turn this bad in the postseason? So I'm gonna LOL. Bryce Eldridge just got his first MLB hit on MLB The Show for me. I have the game simulating right now. Giants versus D-backs 2025. I got Eldridge hitting 8th. He's a 73 overall with an A potential, of course. Judge chokes more than the Sharks. I mean, yeah. I'm actually gonna read off his playoff stats, his career playoff stats for the whole class. Here we go. His batting average is 204. On-base percentage of 315, a slugging percentage of 441, which isn't terrible, but an OPS of 756, and that's not good. Listen, a 756 slugging percentage in the postseason isn't horrible. Obviously, I mean, there are a lot of players whose stats drop a little bit when they go into the postseason because you're facing better pitching. But let's compare that to Judge's regular season numbers, which are his regular season numbers are a 288 batting average, a 406 on base percentage, a 604 slugging percentage, and an OPS average of 1.010. That's just such a massive change in differential. I mean, I know that there'll be guys who are like have an 800 OPS and then go to like a 750 OPS in the postseason. Listen, that's to be expected because sometimes you're just facing harder defenses. Sometimes players just don't play as well in the postseason because you're facing harder pitching all the time. But you cannot be hitting that badly in a postseason. I'm sorry. That's just not acceptable in my opinion, especially since the Yankees have always been a team that's just all about postseason. I mean, you look at the past 2 series he's going up in, he has had, as Johnny has said, a total of 2 hits. That's horrible. That's so bad. That's just not okay, man. Like, it should not be okay for a player that's that good in the regular season, who has like an 1,000 OPS all the time, to drop to like a 760 in the postseason. I mean, that should not be possible. And then on the other hand, you have like guys who are like 760 in the regular season going to like a 1 OPS in the postseason. Adolis Garcia last year, you had other playoff heroes like that. We had guys like Cody Ross. I mean, if a smaller role players or like overlooked guys are able to turn it on when the lights are bright, then a guy like Judge should easily be able to do that. But he has not done good enough. Bottom line, he's not doing good enough, and he's got to do better if he's going to prove something to the world. I mean, does he want his career World Series really to be like, oh yeah, I got carried by Juan Soto to the World Series, or I got carried by Juan Soto to the ALCS? Grant, I just fear the Giants bring Eldridge up too quick and put him with too much pressure on expectations on him. Not fair to a 20-year-old. Listen, I've always said that we can't bring him up immediately. I think if he tears it up in spring, there's a possibility there. But honestly, I would say like, let's give him like 3 or 4 more months down in AAA. Give him a little more time to keep perfecting his stuff, and then once he's ready, call him up. But yeah, it's just, I would not recommend bringing him up until he is like truly, truly ready. I mean, give him more time in AAA, give him more bats there, and then we can talk. But for now, let's just give him time, see if he can keep doing what he's doing. And if he can do that, why not? Why not bring him up? I mean, there's opportunity there. I think that he can be a really good player. I see Eldridge, and I see a guy who could be a top player, and I don't want to mess that up right now. So, yeah, I just give him time. Wait for him to come up and wait for him to get ready. I mean, yeah. Man. I wonder what the Mets are going to do with Brett Baty, because Johnny mentioned this yesterday. Mark Vientos has been absolutely fantastic this year, and I'm wondering to myself, is Brett Beatty, that third baseman that was playing for them, gonna stay? Because Brett Beatty has shown his moments, but Mark Vientos has clearly shown that he's going to be the long-term option at third base. So what's the plan? You know what I mean? Because I think that he could be very possibly a great player, Brett Beatty. I'm just wondering if he's going to stay with the Mets. He might go somewhere else. I'd say that the Mets are going to trade him to see if they can get some capital back. I mean, he's 24 and the guy could still be good. Man. Yeah. It really is end times that the Yankees and the Dodgers make it to the World Series. God help us all. Man. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny. Like, I think I can name like 10 pitchers in this playoffs that like played for the Giants at some point. Tanner Bybee, Carlos Rodon, Alex Cobb, Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea was another pitcher that played for us. I mean, who else on other teams? I mean, Phillies, no. Donovan Solano was another guy who played for the Padres. Jorge Soler even made it to the playoffs before us. I mean, so many forever Giants playing in the playoffs without us. And whose fault is that? But Farhan Zaidi, truly just like being the cancer that ruined this organization for the past 6 years. Ah, man, just been a very interesting last few days with this baseball world. I'm actually writing a paper right now in my writing class about why baseball is so fun to watch in October. I'm going to get started later tonight when I keep writing, but it's going to be so interesting to see how these playoffs turn out. I mean, we have underdog stories. We have the evil empires. We have greatness at every turn. I mean, we're looking at something else of a playoffs. I mean, it's going to be so fun to see how this goes. I actually wanted another matchup that I wanted to point out that's going to happen later this playoffs is going to be between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Mets. That's going to be Walker Buehler versus Luis Severino. I mean, Luis Severino has been good this season, but honestly, this playoffs, he's been a little shaky. He has been good, but what class is that for? It's for my my writing class. It's a composition class that's teaching you how to write a little better. Solano was terrible in the postseason. Well, there you go. I mean, it's just funny how a terrible player, or like not a terrible player, but like a guy who was terrible, made it to the postseason before a whole organization. I mean, it's just tough. But to answer your question, Grant, it's for like this writing class that I'm doing here at college. It's intro to composition, I believe, and we're learning about rhetoric right now. So I'm supposed to create a genre of writing to like try and talk to like inform people about the playoffs here in October and kind of talk about it like more vividly and see if like we can like, you know, get people interested in baseball in October. And I figured, you know, the context of the times, like, you know, we're watching baseball in October right now. So what better time to write about it? But yeah, I mean, we all know how bad Walker Buehler has been this postseason, but Luis Severino has also been a little shaky. And I'm wondering to myself, like, is he going to be – I'm wondering how good he's going to be versus that Dodgers lineup, because that team is just such a – again, I give them a lot of discredit and crap, but they are still a good lineup, and I'm worried that Severino is really going to let something get away from him, and then it'll all be over. But I think Walker Buehler has also been unbelievably shaky this postseason. So I don't know. This could be really good. This could be really bad, but we'll see, because I think that this could be interesting. Let me just check the game log for Bueller. I mean, yeah, 6 earned runs, 7 hits allowed, 0 Ks in that game versus San Diego. Yeah, he got knocked around a lot. Yeah, that was a bad game for Bueller. Explain how Farhan's rhetoric number 1 is Austin Slater is a consummate pro. I mean, yeah, I don't know how the heck that guy was. The whole point of Austin Slater, in my opinion, was just going to be like, it's just that he hits lefties super well, man. He doesn't really do anything. Like, I can't name a thing that he does well besides hitting lefties. That's the biggest problem with Farhan Zaidi. He really thought he could moneyball this whole thing and outsmart the whole game instead of getting well-rounded players that could actually execute baseball. I mean, he was just awful. And honestly, I'm so freaking glad it's just he's gone. And now we can rely on Buster. But yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you think about Severino going tomorrow? He hasn't been fantastic. Not bad, but not great. Yeah, that's the thing about Sevy. I mean, I remember that one year where he was like top 5 in Cy Young voting. He was fantastic. He kept his stuff together. He had great stuff most of all. He was playing great. I'm actually going to look up his stuff right now. Severino. Yeah, I mean, he's had good stuff this year. His sinker's been playing. He's been sweeping the ball well. The cutter's been good. Change has been okay. It's just, yeah, he's just been that weird starter. He's been good, but not that good. I mean, let's just look at his stuff. I mean, like, the sweeper is playing a little too much into here, and the 4-seam right here looks way too in instead of up. The sinker, on the other hand, has been fantastic on this side of the plate. It's been dotted every single time, and that's great. It's just, I'm wondering how well he'll do against a lineup like the Dodgers, because I'm going to go look up his numbers now, actually, against the Dodgers, because I'm pretty sure they aren't necessarily great. I mean, he got shelled by us. Actually, no, he did an okay job. He didn't do great, though. Yeah, he's never had a single start this season against the Dodgers, so I'm a little worried for him there. I mean, I don't know about Sevy. I think he'll do an okay job. It's just, it's a little shaky. Yeah. I just wish he was a lefty. Yeah, that's the thing. If you had lefties going up against that top of that lineup, I'd be more comfortable. But, yeah, I mean, you might as well just walk Ohtani on the base, if I'm being honest. Actually, no, don't do that. That's something that Dave Roberts would do. But honestly, I would be more inclined to just let Sevy do the best he can. I'd try and like say, yo, throw your sinker as much as you can against those left-handed hitters. Like sinker, 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 sinker. Just endless sinkers. Like try and get him with off speed, like a change up low. But I'm very inclined to say, like, you know, just be careful with the Shohei, with Freddie Freeman. Like, he's got to be careful. But if he pitches a good game, like, I remember the game versus Philly. I'm pretty sure he pitched, like, a really good game for, like, solid innings. But then at the very end, he just kind of fell apart. He played super well, though. I'm not sure what it was like. I'm pretty sure he went, like, yeah, let me just check that game between him and the Mets. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was this game. I mean, let me just check. Yeah. I mean, 6 innings, 6 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, a K, and 2 home runs. I mean, those 2 home runs in particular are the thing that I'm like, okay, be careful, because let me just check. Home runs. Okay, so the 2 home runs came from Harper and Castellanos, a lefty and a righty. So I am worried that if he doesn't pitch well in that game, it's going to be an issue. But I'm thinking that he'll go and eat some innings, and then they're going to try and pass it off to the bullpen, because they have to basically like just keep it under control. And they have to hope they can get after Bueller, in my opinion. That's the biggest thing that the Mets have to rely on, getting after Walker Bueller. Because if they can get past Buehler and get after him, then they can really be in good shape. It's just about like trying to keep themselves in a position where they can win the game. And if they can get on top of Buehler, they can be in good shape. It's just about trying to do that. And if they can get past it, it's just really is the lefty thing, because I would be more comfortable with Shohei up against Manaea, because Manaea really did well yesterday versus Shohei. It's just about, like, again, keeping the game under your control. That's basically what this is going to be about. You can't let the other team get the game away from you. And it can't be a dam breaking. It might not even be a dam breaking either. I don't know. Man, but I do like Sevy. I'm really glad to see him back to his old form and how well he's been playing. I mean, let me just check his information really quick. Luis Severino. I mean, yeah, I remember like 2017, 2018, and even 2019 where he was fantastic. Well, actually, no, he had an injury in 2019. In 2020, he didn't play either. But yeah, he had been oft injured for a little while. 2023 was his worst year, and the Mets and the Yankees dumped him. But then he comes into his own in New York and gets back to some old form that he has. I mean, it's good to see him doing well, and I think that he can really do well. Yeah, but if the Mets get past Buehler, pretty much they're going to see Treinen and Kopech. I mean, yeah, Treinen and Kopech are going to be an issue unless Kopech loses it like he did a couple times during the Padres games. I mean, he did look a little shaky in some moments, but I think Kopech and Treinen are probably going to keep it down. That's the thing. You're right, because those guys really shut down the Padres when it mattered. I mean, I'm just hoping that Dave Roberts overmanages his bullpen once again, which is something that I think is very much more possible than, any of the other things that can happen in these series that I talked about. It's less likely to happen and Dave Roberts mismanaging the bullpen is more likely to happen than anything else. I mean, it's who he is, It's Dave Roberts. It's always been Dave Roberts, and I'm hoping that the Dodgers keep him around as usual. But yeah, this sinker that Severino has been throwing has been absolutely fantastic. It's just painted on that left side of the plate. It's not like that, and that sinker will go into lefties and just hang there, and lefties have to pull their hands in and get after it, or against righties, they're just going to try and like swing hard at something that's breaking into the plate. But yeah, I really like how he's been playing though, Sevy, and it's good to see him doing well again. But this postseason performance, this next one needs to be fantastic. Nothing but fantastic, in my opinion. But that's why I was wondering, like, if they would start Iglesias or Sevy, because I thought Iglesias would be the better option, but I think Mendoza is a little worried about like taking risks with low velocity versus a lineup that hits the ball super hard. But yeah, I think that all those things considered, it'll be definitely interesting to see how it all goes. Man, hold on. Let me just check Michael Kopech's stats to make this clear. I mean, I actually want to know, what were his stats before he left the White Sox in comparison? Mike. Let's take a look at Kopech's numbers. Thursday will be Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Jose Quintana. I mean, I'm wondering how Yamamoto will do, because he's facing something vastly different than the Padres. So I'm wondering how that'll go. I think Yamamoto is actually going to do okay, and I think Quintana will do good as well. It's just it's dependent on the Mets pitching continuing to do what it's done. because if it can continue to do what it's done, especially what it did against the Phillies, then I think they can do well. It's just really about, like, again, not letting the game get away from you. But yeah, let me just check this. I want to emphasize something about what happened with Michael Kopech. One thing I will give the Dodgers credit for is saving long lost pitchers. I mean, let's just take a look at this. I mean, April, May, June, and July, 5.27 ERA, 3.24 ERA, 5.06 ERA, 5.79 ERA. And as soon as he goes to the Dodgers, 0.68 ERA. September, 1.86 ERA. I mean, that's something I will actually give to the Dodgers. They are genuinely good at, like, fixing starting pitching from being messed up. I was talking to some Cubs fans. They don't want Bellinger to opt in. They want him gone. I mean, you think we snag him up? I mean, I understand, though, why they don't want him back. I mean, that's a lot of money for a guy who's kind of, Cody Bellinger used to be pretty great, and now he's kind of here. But you don't pay a guy who's, like, here $200 million. You pay a guy who's up here $200 million. And you pay a guy hundreds of millions of dollars like Shohei. I mean, he's way up here. But I'm wondering, I don't know about getting Bellinger, because do we DH him? Because he could be a DH or like a corner outfielder. But honestly, if we're planning to get Soto, I don't know. But yeah, Quintana, 11 innings pitched this postseason, 0 runs. I mean, he could do a great job, honestly. Especially, like, the thing is about the Dodgers lineup, they are a team that is very good at timing up fastballs. And they probably won't be used to, like, timing up fastballs against a team like against a pitcher like Quintana, because Quintana throws the ball at like 85 miles per hour, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just get the Jose Quintana. All right. He's throwing that sinker 90 miles per hour, four seam 90. The curve is at 77. The change is at 85. I mean, he's definitely messing with, like, he will mess with the timing of Dodgers hitters. I think they're going to be planning for it, but it's going to be tough when they actually face him. I feel a lot better about Thursday's game than tomorrow. I think Thursday is a little better because, again, as you said, Quintana has been pitching very well, and I would be more inclined to trust him, especially with, like, the finesse and deception he can have against a pitching staff trying to time up fastballs. No, LOL. I don't want him either. They like Bush at first base more than they like their outfield prospects. And they like their outfield prospects more. I mean, when you have a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong out there who's actually finally playing good, then yeah, of course I would like their I'd like him more too. I mean, let me just take a look at Pete Crow Armstrong, because I actually want to show you guys this really quick. Oh, Armstrong. I mean, let's just take a look at something really quick, because I want to emphasize this to you guys. To just talk about Grand Admiral's thing for, like, their outfield prospects, or talking about the outfield prospects in general. But look at this. April. Oh, sorry, not April. Let's just start in May. May, 233. June, 145. That's terrible. July, 197. And then in August and September, 314, 256. He's finally starting to play up to his dang potential, which is impressive in my opinion. I'm definitely glad for PCA, and it's good to see him playing better. And I'd agree with Grand that a lot of the outfield prospects would probably be a little preferable to a big name free agent like Bellinger, especially considering his agent and how inclined that dude is to just get money for his clients. I wouldn't want Bellinger either. I mean, that's too much drama. That's too many issues with contracting. And I really don't want to do this whole thing where we keep signing players to, like, 2-year deals with an opt-out the next year. That's basically just a 1-year deal. But yeah, at least the Cubs let him play. I mean, at least the Cubs let him play. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I mean, that is it, isn't it? You just got to let people play in order to play better. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I am inclined to agree with Grand that the Cubs are going to be starting to go a different direction now because they're no longer a team that's inclined to be like, oh yeah, let's go splurge again. But especially after this last season where they started off horribly, they're looking to try and develop people more while signing a couple good free agents. But I think they're more inclined to just let Seiya Suzuki, Pete Crow Armstrong, and a couple of their other guys do it. But yeah. But I would be inclined to like let Michael Busch take over first base duty too. But yeah. I wonder who's that guy that Grand was talking about? Was that Ian Happ? Was that the guy that Grand was talking about that he wanted to get? Was that no, that's not him. Was it the Michael Busch? I'm wondering, Grant, can you remind me who was the guy that you wanted to like bring over from the Cubs? Imagine if the Braves traded for Luis Robert. That outfield is already reloaded. Then like Luis Robert, Michael Harris, Ronald Acuna Jr. when he gets back in form. I mean, yeah, I wonder, dude. The Braves. This season is truly going to be, oh yeah, Nico Horner. There you go. Thank you for that, Grant. Appreciate it. I'm just going to keep him up on the screen just to like think about him later and see if he's like how well he'd do. But anyway, to talk about what Grant was talking about, the Braves, like, yeah, I'm not sure if I want Nico. I mean, yeah, he's a good player, but he is a little on the slugging side of things. But yeah, but Jose Caballero at shortstop? I mean, But yeah, imagine if the Braves traded for Luis Robert. Listen, I'm going to say this about the Braves this year. This year is truly going to be a sickening rumination of what could have been for that team because they started off slow. They weren't playing great offensively. But then, more after that, they just started like getting so injured it wasn't even funny. Ozzie, Austin Riley, guys like obviously Strider, and then Acuna as well. Like they had regression from Kelenic and a bunch of other guys that were good. I mean, it's going to be a sickening rumination of what could have been for that team because they really could have been something this year. And last year, when they were that good and they got beat by the Phillies in the DS, they really had the potential to be one of the greatest teams of all time. And they just lost it. And I think this era for them, I'm hoping that it's not a sickening rumination of what could have been. Because was that World Series in 2021 the only one they're going to win? Are they going to be able to win another one? Or are they going to have a chance to do it again? Especially with the Phillies in their way. Especially with teams like the Mets and the Marlins nipping at their heels. I mean, you have to wonder what could have gone differently if they could have been something else, because you could have told me, like, if they had won the World Series last year with the Braves, I would have said, yo, that team might have been the greatest team of all time. Literally none of the players on that team were bad, except for Orlando Arcia was a little mid. But, yeah, I get it. I think Giants fans are tired of sub 250 hitters. So, yeah. I mean, I think next year for the Giants, in my opinion, for this team, it depends on whether or not we sign Juan Soto or get like a really big free agent, because I think next year, in my opinion, is going to be a year of observation to see like, oh yeah, what do we have going for us? Do we have the potential for a core? Is there a possibility here? Can we get a big league free agent to sign for this team? Because if we can do that, I think that this team can be really good. It's just really about like, if we can surround Juan Soto, for example, with the core we already have, that could be, there's potential for greatness there, in my opinion. But Jose Caballero, 28. Yeah, he stole a lot of bags this year, man. Jeez. But yeah, I agree that that batting average is very questionable. Caballero is the definition. Is definitely not for the middle of the order. He's literally for batting ninth and turning the lineup over, and for 40 points is stolen bases. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it with Caballero. I'm looking at his stats right now. It's like bad OBP, bad slugging, bad OPS, but he's got like 44 stolen bags. I mean, that's cool, I guess, but that's more of a toolsy. That's more of a toolsy guy, if anything. That's not really a guy where you'd be like, oh yeah, I trust this guy to be like in like the 6th hole. I wouldn't even trust him to be in the 7th hole, if I'm being honest. He's definitely like a 9th guy in the order. But yeah, to get back to the Braves thing, like, you gotta hope with the greatness of talent they have on their team, Acuna, Albies, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna, guys like that, along with a pitching staff of guys like Strider, Elder, and obviously Sale, and a bunch of these other players like Spencer Schwellenbach. Like, you really hope that, okay, good seeing you, Johnny. See you later. Bye-bye. See it. All right, but yeah, it's just like, you gotta hope that the Braves don't mess up the window that they have for greatness. I mean, was that 2021 World Series a fluke? Was that 2021? No, it wasn't a fluke. They played great, but yeah, he's also young and pre-arbitration. I'm trying to add speed and depth to the team too, not just Soto. Yeah, I get it. He's definitely a toolsy player. I'd agree. His arbitration isn't until 2026. Yeah. And he's a free agent in 2030. I mean, yeah, just looking at all this stuff, I mean, yeah, the stolen bags are definitely a utility thing. He's definitely a guy you'd be like, yeah, let's if you could pick him up for like a couple random dudes, then I'd be like, sure. But I'm also careful about the Tampa Bay Rays because they are known for fleecing teams of like all of their stuff. So it's like, I'd be really careful with talking to that Tampa Bay Rays front office because they can like take a lot of your good players and just run away. Or players you don't even see as good, just diamonds in the rough that could be really good. But I like that. But I do wonder all the time with the talent like that the Braves have on their roster, like Acuna, Albies, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ozuna, like, and that dynamite pitching staff and good bullpen. I mean, I wonder and I hope like that team doesn't like just win one, because I genuinely think last year they could have been considered the best team of all time if they had won it all. But yeah, that's just too bad, man. Like, you really let this opportunity go. Like, I really mean that. They let the opportunity they had go. And I just hope next year's different for them with Ronnie back, with Austin back, with Ozzy back fully healthy, with all those guys back, with Ozuna maybe back. I mean, yeah. I do just like, listen, as a Giants fan, it's like, because ideally you move Jose to second base and then a bench role as time goes on. They should sign the top shortstop prospect internationally. So there's a different ways to look at shortstop. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if we decided to go to a different way at shortstop, I mean, we could definitely be looking at like if we got if we got Caballero, and then on top of Caballero, we got like a young shortstop who could be really good in the future and show something else to play with Tyler at second base. I mean, it's interesting. Hold on. Let me just check Jose Caballero's fielding. Caballero, what's his fielding look like? Sucks to see Walker Martin will most likely be a second base, not a shortstop. I mean, some things just don't work out for certain players. Oh, yeah, look at his fielding. I mean, like, I'm looking at, Caballero's stats. I mean, he would be like a guy I would definitely be inclined to say, yo, let's just go get him and put him in like let's just go get him and put him in the ninth hole. It just depends. Like, looking at Caballero, I mean, we would definitely want to be preparing for the future with that shortstop spot. And I'm wondering if Fitz is going to be at shortstop or second base, but I would like to see him there. And Caballero, I mean, he would be a guy that I would be inclined to say, like, oh, yeah, trust him to field at shortstop, steal some bags in the ninth hole. I mean, yeah, I like the guy. I think that guy could be really good. Oh, yeah, Walker Martin. Oh, yeah, our second, yeah, that prospect we have down there. I mean, yeah, it's too bad. I mean, some guys just don't know how to play shortstop. Some guys just don't know how to play shortstop. I don't know what it is. Like, there are some middle infielders. I mean, I think a big example of this, in my opinion, is like Marcus Semien, because he was not a great shortstop, and he goes to second base and becomes an MVP candidate. There's David Hamilton from Boston, too, because the Red Sox have Meyer trying to take over at shortstop, and Hamilton steals bags, too. I mean, let's go look at David Hamilton really quick. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. Oh yeah, they do have that like prospect coming up that you're talking about, Meyer. I mean, yeah, looking at his stats, he's not bad actually. That's like, okay, no, that's a guy who can steal you some bags. Hamilton, 27, good sprint speed, not a great fielder, but good enough, average. I mean, him or Caballero would probably be pretty good. I mean, yeah, Jose Caballero and what's his name they're pretty much like the same guys in a lot of ways. I mean, guys who can steal bases but don't have great average and hitting stats, but also have like a good fielding as well. Yeah, I would be inclined to get like one of those guys for like a pittance, just like something solid, nothing crazy, obviously, but yeah. Because Soto, Burns, and Snell are two high-profile guys. I'm just looking for realistic speed to go. Yeah. I mean, that's reasonable. That is the biggest thing, Grand, because we need guys who can steal bags, because we don't have a lot of guys who can steal bags. We have Chapman and Fitz, and that's it. We need other guys, yeah. Estrada wishes he was these guys. Man, Tyler Estrada. I don't know what the hell happened to him, man. Like, he was pretty good there for a minute, and he just turned into a pumpkin. I don't know what the heck happened. I mean, it's crazy how bad he turned out. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we are going to be trying to pay high prices for Soto, Burns, and Snell. So we're going to have to go get some bargain, more like cheaper options for guys who are a bit more like speedy. Like, and these guys don't have to cost that much, especially Hamilton and Caballero. I mean, I'd be very careful about trading with the Rays, because they're known for fleecing big teams. But talking to like the Red Sox, we could have a good conversation about getting what's his name about getting Hamilton. I mean, yeah, he's got good. He's decent. He's also fast as hell too. Him and Caballero are both pretty fast. So yeah. I would definitely be inclined to say like those guys could be people we could talk about, but we'll see. Also, let me just look up Tyler Estrada really quick. Man, I always wonder what the hell happened to that guy. You think the Orioles will actually spend money? I mean, they have a new owner. Rubenstein is a genuinely serious guy. He's from the city of Baltimore. He wants to make the fans entertained. He's a billionaire. Hold on, let me just check. Dave Rubenstein. Yeah, Dave Rubenstein. I mean, yeah, he's a lawyer, businessman, philanthropist, and he acquired the team for $1.7 billion. And he's worth $4.6 billion. I mean, considering all those things, he's from Baltimore. He's a businessman and a philanthropist. He's not really a guy who's just like in it to make money. Absorb now Rendon's contract to pit up debt. I mean, Ed, again, I've said this a lot. Like, I don't want Anthony Rendon in my team. It's not just about the contract. It's just about the dude. He just doesn't care about baseball. And I want a guy who cares about baseball to be on my team. Yeah, he was good for a minute, but he's not good anymore. But to get back to Grant's question, I mean, I would say Rubenstein and and the other like minority owners over in Baltimore are going to spend a lot of money. And I think that they actually might be a team that's like sneaky interested in getting like some good free agents. Like Zilla isn't going to, I think Corbin Burns is going to be their first option. They want to bring Corbin back because he played super well for them last year. I mean, the Orioles, it's good to see them finally be a serious team after exercising Peter Angelos from the franchise. But yeah, it's good. Oh, Hoppy and Ben Joyce. I don't want Detmers and Neto. I mean, it's just like the problem with the Angels prospects. I remember this happened last year. They like traded everybody for Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez and a dozen or so other guys, and basically like got rid of the farm system, which is crazy. I mean, so I don't really think they have that many prospects where I'm like, oh yeah, like I want that guy to be a part of my team. Because in reality, even Logan O'Hoppe, he's not that bad, but he's not that. I mean, his bat's great. His bat's really good, but I'm not really interested in like, no, actually, you know what? I think I agree with Grant. It's like O'Hoppe and Joyce are that you would need to throw in some really good people for us to take Anthony Rendon's cancerous contract on. But yeah, Orioles might go after Blake Snell ahead of Burns. I mean, the problem is we've talked about this before. Snell wants to stay on the West Coast. So that leaves, because he wants to be closer to Seattle. He wants to be able to go home more often than not. And he can do that on his days off. He can go to Seattle. So, I mean, just looking at all those things considered, he's probably going to try and want to take a team option here. That's going to be us, the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Dodgers don't sign Boris Klein, so they're out of the running. And Seattle doesn't spend a lot of money. So I don't think he wants to go back to the East Coast. He's repeatedly said he wants to stay out West. And I don't know if that's going to be an entire thing, but the Orioles could be a team that are serious. Again, like, it's just good to see the Orioles actually be a serious team again, because they just have been an unserious team for so long under Peter Angelos and his horrible regime. I mean, it's just good to see that team be serious again. I mean, but yeah, I think Rubenstein is going to be interesting. My crazy trade would be Boston, Robbie Ray for Trevor Story, Connor Wong, and David Hamilton. You add a legit catcher with a pair of to pair with Bailey, who hits 285 and speed in Hamilton. Story is just to make the money work with Ray. I mean, that is an ambitious trade. That's an ambitious trade. I mean, yeah, the thing is though, okay, yeah, that's the thing is though, Robbie Ray's money is just so depreciated too. So I get why you're going that way. I mean, I wouldn't even care if Story never plays, just buy him out. I mean, yeah, I mean, Trevor Story, sadly, the dude's just been injured the entire season. He had like the shoulder issue. But yeah, I mean, Ray for Trevor Story, Wong, and David Hamilton. I mean, FSG is looking for like bargain packages. So they would be inclined for that. They do need starting pitching to go along with Houck and Cutter Crawford. So getting a veteran in Robbie Ray would be helpful. I mean, the problem is I'm worried about our pitching too, because we do need another guy to go with Logan who's like pretty good or experienced. But if we can make this trade happen, David Hamilton, Connor Wong, and Trevor Story for a depreciated Robbie Ray, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting because I honestly think as a Giants fan, like, I really don't see us making a massive trade or anything substantial in the offseason in terms of trade. We're going to sign some free agents, but I don't think we're going to do anything crazy in terms of trade. I think we're going to be doing something a little more conservative, in my opinion. I have to go in a minute, but yeah. Anything else, Grand? Because I actually do have to go in a minute. I think they can sign Snell back. I do think so too. It's just like, I'm just hoping that we haven't burned all the bridges after Farhan Zaidi. I mean, but I do agree. I think we can sign him back, but I would like to sign Snell back. But anyway, I think I gotta go right now because I have a meeting that I have to go to with some people. So big things to do. But anyway, Grand, Johnny, Ed, thanks for coming around. Appreciate it. I mean, it's good to see you guys. Good talking. Oh, yeah, I think it's weird because articles are out there talking about Giants trading Duvall and Hicks. Actually, that's actually true. Duvall and Hicks are guys who I definitely see are possible trade chips. I mean, Hicks can provide a little more value because he's a proven reliever. Duvall is basically going to be a project for a pittance, but again, we'll see. I think I'll talk about this on the show tomorrow. Good seeing you, Grand. Good seeing Johnny and Ed here. Thank you, guys. Go watch Eric and Glenn on Giant Sports Talk Live later tonight after the playoff game. It's good seeing you guys. It's good talking with you guys about sports all the time. Thank you for supporting Northern Lights Sports and Entertainment. Watch Shark Bite. Watch Late Night Sports Talk with Will B and Eric. And see ya.
You've been watching the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network, a Northern Lights Entertainment broadcasting station.